Hello, my dear friends. Today I'm going to talk about Richard Brinsley Sheridan, one of the greatest writers of English comedy, and his comic play, The School for Scandal, which depicts the scandal mongers in London and how they spread scandals in the society. And in this video, I'm going to discuss in detail the important questions from the play. Let's have a look at the most important questions. Richard Brinsley Sheridan, 1751 to 1816. He was an Irish satirist, a playwright and a poet, and a long-term honour of the London Theatre Royal. He was a Whig MP for 32 years, and his mother, Frances Sheridan, was a playwright and a novelist. Let's see a few important questions. Who is the author of his biography, Memoirs of the Life and Works of Richard Brinsley Sheridan? An Irish writer, Thomas More. The play, The School for Scandal, was first performed in London at Drury Lane Theatre on May 8, 1777. He was the manager of the Drury Lane Theatre. Sheridan is a master of comedy of manners. It's a satirical comedy of the Restoration period that questions and comments upon the manners and social norms of a greatly sophisticated artificial society. The play is set in London. The play begins with a poem titled A Portrait addressed to Mrs. Crewe, and it is considered as an invocation. The prologue to the play is written by Mr. Garrick. The first scene of the play is set in Lady Sneerwell's dressing table. She is the widow of a city knight and expert in spreading scandals about all fashionable men in the society because she herself suffered such scandals in her youth. Who is Mr. Snake? Lady Sneerwell's agent for spreading scandals. Who is the elderly knight who has married a lady much younger than himself? Peter Teazle. Who is the guardian of Joseph and Charles after their father's death? Peter Teazle. Who among the young men pretends to be noble and actually a villain? Joseph Surface. Who has no father but immense wealth and the ward of Peter Teazle? Maria. Maria loves Charles and Joseph loves Maria because of her immense wealth. Who wants to poison the relation between Charles and Maria? Lady Sneerwell. Because she loves Charles Surface and she wants to show Peter Teazle that Charles and Lady Teazle are in love. Who has very good impression about Joseph and wished to propose a marriage between Joseph and Maria? Sir Peter Teazle. Who believes the forgery is created by Sneerwell about Charles? Maria. Who has noble heart, lost everything and in debt? Charles Surface. Who is Benjamin Blackbite? Maria's disagreeable suitor and a poet. Why Maria doesn't like Benjamin Blackbite? Because she believes that the scandals are spread by his uncle Crabtree. Scandal may be allowable, but in a man, a male slanderer must have the cowardice of a woman before he can reduce one. Who said to whom? Maria to Lady Sneerwell and Joseph about Benjamin Blackbite. Next is an important quote. Tale-bearers are just as bad as tale-makers. Who said? It's an ironic statement by Lady Cantor because she is a gossip monger. According to Crabtree, Charles is in the company of his friends and Jews. I have been the most miserable dog. Who said? Peter Teazle. Because he has an unhappy married life with Lady Teazle. He is a man of sentiment and acts up to the sentiments he professes. Who says about whom? Peter Teazle says to Rowley about Joseph Surface. And Rowley is the old steward of Charles and Joseph's father. Rowley has less opinion about Joseph, but Peter always praises Joseph. When an old bachelor marries a young wife, he deserves no, the crime carries its punishment along with it. Who said to whom? Sir Peter to Rowley. Due to his unhappy marital life with Lady Teazle, and she married the old Peter only to enjoy the life in London with his money. Madam, true wit is more nearly allied to good nature than your ladyship is aware of. Who says to whom? Peter Teazle to Lady Teazle. He says about Lady Teazle as a pert rural coquette who is capable of everything that is bad. Who is Oliver Surface? Joseph and Charles' uncle, an old friend of Peter Teazle, and now he is in Bengal, Calcutta. And he is coming back to London, but he does not want to inform his arrival to his nephews Charles and Joseph. According to the plan of Rowley, Oliver sees the two brothers without knowing who he is. Rowley suggests Oliver to act as Dash in order to test his nephews. Stanley, a relative of Charles and Joseph who has several misfortunes, and in the name of Stanley, Oliver writes a letter to the two brothers for help. Oliver reaches near Charles as Mr. Premium. Who lends money to Charles given by Oliver? Moses the Jew. Oliver wants to know about the real financial position of Charles, who describes himself as an extravagant young fellow. Charles to Moses and Premium. I have a devilish rich uncle in the East Indies, Sir Oliver Surface, from whom I have the greatest expectations. Who says to whom? Charles says to Oliver, and Charles is unaware that it is Oliver. He thinks he is talking to Premium. What is the only thing in Charles' home to give as security in order to borrow money from Premium? The ancestral pictures. He sells the portraits of his forefathers to his uncle. Instead of paying his own debts, he decides to help poor Mr. Stanley. Whom does Charles appoint as the auctioneer to sell his pictures? Careless. Why Oliver calls Charles an honest fellow? Because he never agrees to sell the pictures of his uncle Oliver at any cost. Who is mentioned as a little nabob in the play? Oliver Surface. Nabob is an Anglo-Indian term borrowed during British colonial rule to denote an Englishman who returned from India to England with good fortune. Which is the most famous scene in the play? The screen scene, Act 4, Scene 3. The screen scene is the longest and the best known scene in the School for Scandal, and the screen scene is set in the library of Joseph Surface. It marks a turning point in the story, and Joseph's villainy and hypocrisy is exposed in the scene. Sir Peter Teazle has been the greatest obstacle to the marriage of Charles and Maria, and the screen scene reveals the honest and upright nature of Charles. Thus, this scene paves the way for the marriage between Charles and Maria. Lady Teazle is moved by her husband's love towards her, and she addresses Joseph as Mr. Hypocrite. I may wear a little charity in my face. I may wear a little charity in my face. Who says? Joseph. When Sir Oliver comes to Joseph as Mr. Stanley. Who is Mr. Stanley? A poor relation of Joseph and Charles. Joseph behaves politely but never gives any amount of money to Mr. Stanley. The silver ore of pure charity is an expensive article in the catalogue of man's good qualities, whereas the sentimental French plate I use instead of it makes just as good a show. It pays no tax. Who said? Joseph Surface. He believes that charity can be best expressed through words, then he loses only a few words. There is nothing in the world so noble as a man of sentiment. Who says about whom? Sir Peter to Charles about Joseph. Later, Charles repeats the mock of argument in the screen scene when Joseph's hypocrisy is revealed before Sir Peter Teazle. Who is the round character in the play? Lady Teazle. Her attitudes and character changes and develops in the play. Joseph follows Lady Sneerwell at the end. Who sings the last song in the play? Charles Surface. The epilogue of the play is by Mr. George Coleman, and he was a leading dramatist of the time. Coleman's epilogue includes an elaborate parody of a famous speech in Shakespeare's Othello. The epilogue is spoken by Lady Teazle about her regret for leaving country life. Who wants to pass a law against the gossip if it is in his power? Peter Teazle. Rowley is the direct contrast to Mr. Snake. The climax of the play occurs in the screen scene. Here ends the video. I hope you have noted down all the important questions in your notebook, and I'm sure these videos will definitely help you to prepare for your exams. If you have any genuine comments regarding the videos, just write to me so that I can improve myself for my upcoming videos. Dear friends, study well. Have a nice day. Thank you.